Yesterday in Philadelphia, after the speech, Reverend Al Sharpton said it was a momentous speech. He said the president talked on race, but what was missing was the word filibuster and what he was going to do. Also after the speech, we talked to NAACP President Derek Johnson, who said that he was concerned that there was no path forward and there was no sense of urgency. I'm going back to that other question, but giving you a little bit more specifics as to what people said. Can you address that about the path forward, the filibuster, and the sense of urgency? The president talked about equating this moment to the Civil War, but where was the urgency in moving it forward, the path forward, and also the issue of the filibuster that's holding this whole thing up?
Well, April, I'd also say that the president of the Southern Poverty Law Center said that President Biden accurately characterized the anti-democracy actions by state legislators and others following January 6th. And President Biden's speech today ultimately was a needed call to action for this multiracial coalition of democracy defenders in this country to rise to the urgency of the moment. The president of Unitas US said, "I commend the president for asserting the importance of voting rights, especially as we're seeing numerous states enact voting rules that are restrictive and discriminatory for Black and brown communities." The president delivered this speech yesterday because he knows that there is still not enough information out there, not enough empowerment, not enough engagement with people across the country about what their rights are and what is happening in states across the country that is oppressing and silencing their right to have their voices heard. That's why he delivered the speech. Part of our focus is continuing to press for the People Act. He will continue to do that, and the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. And he will stand with civil rights leaders who were just here at the White House last week to have a conversation about how they can work together to move this forward. He's also not going to wait on that. Obviously, the Department of Justice has already took action in Georgia. They will make decisions about taking action to fight against these oppressive laws around the country. We're continuing to implement the executive order. We're continuing to fund efforts around the country to educate and inform citizens. So he delivered the speech to make sure people knew what their rights are and to make sure people knew what he was doing to fight against efforts to oppress.
So what about the pathway forward, though, from this administration? You're telling the coalition groups to go out and act. The president said that yesterday. But what is the path forward? What is the formula that this administration has to making sure that H.R. 1 is passed and then H.R. 4 comes behind? H.R. 1 and S1 are passed, and then H.R. 4 moves forward.
Well, I don't have details on a legislative strategy to outline for you here. We are going to continue to work with leaders in the Senate, leaders in the House, who, as you know, are huge advocates for moving these pieces of legislation forward. And we're going to continue to lift up and empower voices across the country to ensure that people understand who have a vote, how important this is to citizens across the country. I got to keep going, April. I'm sorry, I got to keep going because I'm going to run out of time. Go ahead.